So I want to talk about our NRCS high tunnel. We get asked about our NRCS high tunnel quite a bit because it corresponds with a grant. That's why we call it the NRCS high tunnel, because there is an NRCS grant and it is nationwide, but we are approved manufacturers in the state of Missouri. So we created this high tunnel to fit that particular grant. That being said, this kit also fits many NRCS grants throughout the United States, and we have many NRCS grants all over. So the reason it's called that again is because of the grant itself. However, it's also a very beneficial greenhouse, or high tunnel, I should say, to have for many different uses, and you don't have to have the grant to find this to be a useful high tunnel. And the reason I say high tunnel is because technically high tunnel means it doesn't have electricity. So oftentimes you'll hear, I have a problem with using that term interchangeably, greenhouse and high tunnel. Technically, though, a high tunnel does not have electricity to it, but many people do use it interchangeably. So with the NRCS grant, they use the term high tunnel. So I use the term high tunnel for this particular building, and we'll talk about what's included. So first of all, with our NRCS high tunnel, we have our frame, which is standard through all of our kits. The NRCS kit is going to have hoops, of course, that are going to be 16 gauge steel. They're 1 3/8 inch in diameter and 16 gauge. You can get 14 gauge steel. And some of my customers say that their grants do actually require 14 gauge steel. So that's available to you. Our standard is 16 gauge, but you can just ask for that and we can get you 14 gauge as an upgrade. No big deal. They are spaced every 4 feet and they are galvanized steel. You will receive those along in this kit along with ground stakes. So you have ground stakes going in every 4 feet as well. They drive directly into the ground. People often ask me how they get in the ground and how the attachments are. These stakes do get driven directly into the ground. You do not have to concrete them. Some people do. And depending on your area, you may decide that that would make you feel better, or maybe you have extremely strong, really high wind areas, or maybe really loose soil. Might be worth adding that concrete. But I would say a large majority of my customers don't actually do that, but it's entirely up to you. 3 steel purlins come with every kit, and those are going to be the same galvanized steel, and they're going to run the entire length of this high tunnel. So they're going to go from the front to the back of the building. They attach to every hoop. So you'll have one in the middle top, then you'll have one slightly to the left, slightly to the right, and they connect all the hoops together. And then you'll have cross braces that go from the left part of a hoop to the right part, and that's on every single hoop. You're going to have a cross brace. So you've got your hoop, your cross braces, and then your purlins that run the entire length of the greenhouse or high tunnel. Then you're going to have, if it's a 24 wide kit, you are spanning further, and to help with that span and make the building even stronger, 24 wide kits come with drop down steel, and that goes from the purlin in the center down to that cross brace. Okay. And that can be added to 20 wide kits or 16 wide kits as well if you'd like. Again, just ask us and we can do that for you too. But they come naturally with the 24 wide kits because of the longer span that we're trying to just make it a little bit stronger for that, to cover that. Wind braces are going to come with this kit, as well as your film. So this kit also does come with the 6 mil 4-year UV protected film, and it will cover your entire top from bottom to bottom, all the way over the top. And you'll have film for your end walls. So your front end wall and your back end wall will have film to cover them. Common question is about the end walls and how they're designed. We leave end walls up for you to design, to customize for your needs. And the reason we do that is because we have so many different needs out there. Some people want drive-through doors. Some want roll-up doors. Some want a door in the front and the back. I've had customers who had to get horse carriages in. Like, there's just all sorts of different needs out there. So you can design your end walls the way you'd like, but you do have enough film to cover them entirely. So it's up to you what you do. But myself, I just did an end wall with the film and got an exterior door from a local hardware store, and that was fine for my needs. But everyone's different, so that's something you can discuss also if you want some more ideas or want to know how that works. But you'll have all of the film, and then you'll also have hardware for all the attachments. So the kit goes together a lot like, I always describe it as like building a swing set. The stakes go in the ground and then everything just plugs in. Once it's plugged in, it will attach with all the hardware that we provide for you. So you get it together, you just put in the hardware that we give you down to the screws. And that also includes hardware for the end walls. So to attach the lumber, if you're using whatever kind of lumber you use on your end wall, we provide the hardware to attach that to those steel hoops. So that way you can get it all put together. And then wiggle wire and channel, also important in this kit. So whenever you have film, you're going to want to know how to hold it on to your seal. And that's where wiggle wire and channel come in. So you'll have enough channel to go around your perimeter base all the way around. It's a steel channel. And then you put your film in and then you wiggle it in with the wire that we provide. And that will hold your film down. And we'll also have the wiggle wire and channel to go up and over your end walls on both ends. So you can securely hold all your film on both sides. The NRCS kit, what makes it different from our fully braced kit, because that pretty much is the fully braced kit, but NRCS kit adds an element that is really beneficial, and that is roll-up sidewalls. So the NRCS kit along both walls includes the hardware and the accessories needed to roll both sides up 4 feet. So you'll add a hip board on the side, and then we'll give you additional wiggle wire and channel to ride along that hip board. So when your film goes over the top, it wiggles into that hip board at 4 or 5 feet, and then it goes down to the base where it wiggles in again to the wiggle wire and channel we provided. You'll also have cranks and clips to allow for your sides. When you unwiggle it and take the film out, it'll have a bar there attaching and you can roll up. It's a reduced gear crank. So one person can do it even with a 96-foot building, and you can roll it up and the entire sides on both sides or one side, because you have a crank for each side. So you can decide what you want to do, but they'll roll up to the 4 to 5 feet where you have your hip board, and they'll go all the way up and they'll hold right there. So it's great for airflow, and most NRCS grants do require that. So it's a wonderful feature. And even if you don't have the grant, it's still a great way to get airflow through your building without having to have electricity and a lot of added things. So that is your NRCS high tunnel that we have at Greenhouse Kits 1. If you have any questions, let us know, or you found this information valuable, please like and subscribe. Thanks.